Hello everybody, welcome back. I am literally just looking at my list because I have 17 things that I have just been thinking about that have like changed my life, made something about my life better or like worth living or like, that might be a little bit dramatic. Just things that make adult life a bit easier because as we all know, adult life can be really hard. So I've actually split these up into all of the rooms in my house, except for the bedroom. There wasn't really anything in the bedroom that I can show you. So we're just gonna walk through all of the rooms and I'm gonna show you what I think that you should buy, what has made my life so much better. Okay, so we're in the kitchen and honestly, the first thing that I wanna show you guys is like a kitchen house bedroom thing. I have a lot of smart lights, but smart lights are good and they're bad. They're really complicated and they do emit a flickering because they're all powered by LED. There's no like incandescent old school smart light bulbs anymore. So I actually wanted to highlight a new product that I was actually sent called the Bedtime Bulb. This is the Bedtime Bulb. It looks like any other normal bulb, but it is not. It emits a very low amount of blue light, which is really helpful to get more restful sleep. And it transitions from a warm light to a warmer light as you dim, and it dims from 0 to 100 perfectly, which is really hard to find in the LED space. And with smart bulbs, they're just complicated and they don't offer the same benefits nearly as consistently. So here we are in the kitchen. I'm gonna show you how this works easier here. You see my lamp right here, my kitchen lamp. I have a bulb in it right now, kind of a warm white, kind of a cool white. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this with this warm bedtime bulb. And you'll notice warmer light. We love that. Still bright, still warm light, still looks normal. But what really makes it impressive is when I use a dimmer, you'll notice that the light changes really quickly. So right now it's at 100%. And as I go down, do you see how amber that gets? I hope this is coming through the camera. And as I go down even further, it gets really dim while still staying really warm, which is very important for just vibes and for sleep. And then you can go all the way back up. Lighting is incredibly important. Everybody should have nice lighting. Nobody should have a daylight bulb in their house. That is insane. That's for an office. And even then, that's not even for the human eye. So don't get cool bulbs, get warm bulbs. The next thing that I want to talk about is actually my Nespresso. This is like the original line Nespresso. I have the like little Pixie small version. I think this is called the Pixie. It's made by Breville. You put your little pods in there. They fall into there once they're done. You put the pod into there to, I almost said to cook the espresso. You're not cooking the espresso. I have a lot of pods that I've gotten from different brands and I just color coordinated them and I'm so happy about it. But the reason why I wanted to talk about the Nespresso is because I don't like black coffee. I like espresso. I like the intense flavor. I like all of the different types that you can get. And obviously this is not the best version of espresso, but it is really good for being able to just make in the morning really easily every day. To make for espresso martinis, to make for affogato. I am not going to take care of and use a really intense espresso machine. I'm not going to pull shots all on my own. So if you're looking for something that can do espresso at a much cheaper level, not as good, but still pretty good and really fun to try a bunch of different types, then espresso is where it's at, which I know the coffee snobs out there are having a heart attack and I'm sorry. Okay, along that line is actually in my kitchen cabinet. Oh, it's being cleaned. Oh, it's hot. Okay, it's hot. It was being cleaned. I didn't plan this one. Something that I have absolutely loved is actually this Yeti shaker top. It's made by Yeti, really well made. You can throw it in the dishwasher, obviously. But what's great about this is that it fits the majority of the cups that you already probably have and the majority of cups that they make. So like I have their shaker cup, but I also have some of their other just normal drinking cups and it just fits right on top. So you can turn any Yeti cup that's this size into a shaker, which is actually really useful because I love making espresso martinis. Me and my partner have just gotten into dirty martinis, which has been really fun. Or even like a shaken espresso if you want to copy what you get at Starbucks. This makes it so easy because you can literally shake it in the cup that you're going to drink from. And I use this all the time. That was hot and steamy. Okay, so also along the lines of like adult beverages, I recently got this wine aerator right here. It's this small little one. It's got 3 spouts right on the front. It's got a tube that goes in and it's like a cork basically. And it's amazing. Aerating your wine, if you don't know, will basically almost always make it taste better. And this is not the most intense aerator. I am not a wino, but especially for store-bought wine and red wine that you just get from anywhere, this will make it taste a little bit better. And it's just such a nice experience. It's so easy to pop in a bottle, pour, and I don't have to think about it and I rinse it out when I'm done. Also along the lines of beverages, because I'm like a beverage king, I actually am testing two different frothers right now, not aerators. And I really, really love the frother way more than I thought I would because I can make matcha in it in like 2 minutes. Now, okay, matcha people, I get that it's not the perfect best way, the most God-honoring way to do it, but it is the fast, easy, fun way. All I do is pop the milk and the matcha powder in the bottom right here, or hot cocoa or electrolyte powder or whatever you need, and it just mixes it for you really easily, and it makes really, really good latte milk every single time. I'm testing these two different frothers right now because both of them do warm and cool frothing, which especially in the summer, I don't want to make warm drinks, but in the winter, heating up milk in these or making hot chocolate or making warm lattes, obviously really easy. Okay, now I'm gonna bring you guys down here actually to my newer air fryer. I was actually sent this by Kosari to just try, and I actually have really been impressed by it because of the value that it provides. So quickly, when I turn it on, you get a bunch of different modes. We love this. The main thing to pay attention to are these turbo modes, because that's where really the air fryer and the value of an air fryer comes through. Pardon me for the mess, I used it last night. You can see at the bottom, there's this removable grid right here, and this actually elevates the food basically by almost an inch, probably a half inch, so that way air can fully circulate around the food. And this is why air frying is actually super, super helpful and good. You don't have to use oil, and everything cooks a lot faster. I live in Texas. I barely use my oven at this point because it makes my house so hot. And when you have a really powerful air fryer like this, it heats up in like 3 minutes really quickly. It cooks your food really consistently and really quickly. And then obviously the cleanup is very simple. So even if you have a family, you can still fit a lot of food in here. But this one has just been really easy to use and very powerful, which especially for the price, I think is totally worth it. I mean, you can even like toast and bake in there. So you really could get away without having an oven at all. And honestly, I kind of want to have I've like had the idea of having a kitchen one day where you just don't have traditional appliances, because most of the time there's like smaller, better versions of them that exist now. Okay, and then the last thing in the kitchen is actually this product that I don't really know how to review. I've been thinking about videos for. It is called the Terminal, and I actually have it sitting right here all the time in my kitchen. It's this little thin open sourced e-ink screen. And e-ink is what it powers Kindles and a lot of like transportation signs that you'll see in the world. So having a screen that's always on in your kitchen is actually really useful. And it's completely open source, and to use it is completely free. You just need to buy the device or install the software on a device that you already own, like a Kindle or an iPad. You can see right here, it's actually got a calendar that shows through, and I actually have a couple of widgets that cycle throughout the day, every single day. And because it's e-ink, it barely uses any electricity. And so I've actually probably charged it once in maybe the almost 4 or 6 months I've owned it. If you're looking at something like a skylight calendar, I honestly think that that would be a great replacement. Or if you need to have like a bulletin or a calendar in an office or in an open space or even in your own home, I've been really impressed by it, and it's been really easy to use. And I think for the money, the value is totally there. Especially if you want to tinker around, you could like do a lot of really cool custom things with it. Okay, now I'm gonna take you into the office because I have 3 things in here that I just love. The first one is actually a really good set of charging cables. I was sent these by Mfish, and they came with this really nice case. But what I like so much about these cables, and just high quality cables in general, is that when you find like a company that has a really high level of detail like this, everything just makes sense. The cable is longer than your traditional one. It is thicker, but also a lot more flexible than normal ones. Like, it doesn't kink in the same way. And on this one specifically, you actually have this head that you can pull off. So then that way you can get like a USB-C plug right here, or if I pop it back on, I can get lightning. So having a cable like this is just really useful because it would probably replace the need to have a bunch of cheap ones. And I know that it will last a long time. I won't have to worry about it fraying or breaking, which is the most annoying part about having charging cables. You really should buy one and have it for the rest of your life like that. Okay, the next one, if you've been a subscriber, which if you're not, go ahead and subscribe. You're already to this point in this video. I make videos like this all the time, and I love hearing from you guys. So even if you don't subscribe, leave me a comment and tell me why, or leave me a comment and tell me what would make you subscribe. But if you've been watching my videos for a while, you might have seen that I actually reviewed this Anker laptop battery. And I was really excited when this battery came out because it actually has 2 integrated cables. There's one in the handle right here that you can just slide out, and it's actually really durable, so you can carry the battery from it. But the one that was really exciting to me is there's also a cable slot in the top that has a 3-foot retractable cable. And ever since I reviewed this, I cannot tell you, I use this almost every single day. I use it for so many different things. I use it when the plugs at my desk are being used. I've taken this on every single trip. I take this to work with me. It is so useful to have a battery that you know will not die because it has a ton of capacity, and one that has cables built in, because now when I need to throw something in my bag, I literally just throw this like basically hub battery combo into my bag and I'm done. It also has a little screen on the front, but besides seeing the battery percentage, I don't really pay attention to it. Okay, finally in the office, I need to talk about command strips. Now, command strips, I mean, duh, of course they're super helpful, but I've actually just used them in a way recently that makes me so happy. I went crazy and I bought a Apple Studio display at the beginning of this year. And I felt really guilty for it because it is a very expensive display, but I will say I'm a designer for my job and obviously I make videos. So having a display that's this high quality has kind of been life-changing. But for my work computer, I actually have a Mac Mini that I use exclusively with this monitor. And the Mac Mini was always right down here on the desk, which wasn't great. It was kind of in the way. It was just, I had to pick it up to get to the power button, that kind of thing. So I thought, what if I just use command strips and I make this like an all-in-one kind of moment? And that's exactly what I did. If you look behind the monitor right here, you can see I have the Mac Mini actually mounted upside down onto the back of the monitor right here. So there goes my hard drive. So then that way, all of my cables are hidden behind the monitor and the Mac has more room to breathe because the fan on the bottom is exposed. I've used command strips to put up things on the wall for years. Of course, that makes sense. I never really thought about them to hide and manage tech. So I've actually done the same thing with my Apple TV in the living room, and it's just been really useful. I love it when cords are out of the way and when tech gets out of the way, so your space can breathe. And this has been really helpful. Don't know why I hadn't thought about it before. So while we're on the topic, let's go to the living room. Okay, so in the living room, another long-term review I've been doing is actually the Arc Ultra. And if you don't know, this is a soundbar that's made by Sonos. I have a bunch of Sonos speakers. I had the Arc for years before the Ultra, and to be honest, I wasn't really convinced that it was going to be a big upgrade, and let me just say, it's a huge upgrade. It's unfortunately a really, really worthwhile upgrade. The Arc Ultra largely looks the same on the outside, but it's been completely redesigned on the inside and it has a built-in subwoofer. So everything that comes out of this is so much bigger and more immersive and more rich. And that's when you're not even using surrounds or sub, which I do normally use. On its own, it sounds amazing. And if you have never had a soundbar, you do not know what you're missing out on. There are plenty of other options besides this one, but if you want to swing big and if you really want one of the best ones out there as an all-in-one package, I cannot recommend it enough. I've been super, super happy about it. And honestly, I've been figuring out how to do a long-term review or like a meaningful review on the Ultra. So if you guys have questions, please let me know in the comments below because I'll probably be making a video pretty soon about it. Okay, we're in the living room. We're talking about tech. I actually want to talk about my front door lock because I'm obsessed with it. Do not pay attention to the paint scratches. They will be fixed one day. But this is my smart lock right here. And you might be wondering, that just looks like a normal lock. And it's because it's like the best designed smart lock I've ever seen. It's made by Level. So all of the smarts are actually, the battery is inside of the bolt and all of the smarts are inside of this hub. So even from the front, that looks like a normal lock. It's got a normal key. Nobody would know. You can hold your phone up against it. You can use an app. It can unlock when you get near. You can actually touch the side of the lock to lock it. Just like that. And you can get an optional keypad, which I have used so many times because you can set a bunch of different codes for you and your guests or dog walkers or house sitters. Everybody can have different codes. The codes can work at different times. And so that way, you know, if you don't have your key, if you don't have a way to get in, you can always type in the code and get in. And I mean, look at that. It's so simple and it's so streamlined and it's so not techy. I just love it. I just forgot one. We're back in the kitchen. I actually have been recently trying out a couple of different detergents because we all use way too much detergent and it's actually destroying your laundry machine. And I came across a really novel solution I had not ever seen before. If you don't know, most of the laundry detergent you buy, the big bottles, are just mainly water. It's just soap that's been diluted in water. So it's really inefficient to be shipping bottles of water across the country. So if you look for concentrated bottles, you might think that that's really great. And it can work for some people in some situations, but the concentration of that soap is much, much higher and your machine usually doesn't need it. Washing machine manufacturers largely recommend 2 tablespoons max of the diluted big bottle. So you can imagine if you're getting like 2 tablespoons of the concentrated, you're actually gonna be causing a lot of buildup in your machine most likely mildew will be growing, and that doesn't mean that your clothes are getting any cleaner. So when I was looking for a laundry detergent that would work, I've used a couple, but I've been testing this Arm & Hammer Power Sheet. This is completely new to me. I don't know if it's new to anybody else. These are literally dissolvable just sheets that you throw into the wash when you start it. So in the box, the sheets are about this big because you can actually tear it on the perforation and get a half sheet. So the idea is a full load, use a full sheet, a smaller load, use a half sheet. These smell really nice, and I've noticed that my clothes have been just as clean as they always have been, and they don't use any water. It's definitely more eco-friendly. It's easier to travel with, and it barely takes up any space. Like, this is technically up to 100 loads of detergent, and it's just in this little dry box. Also, if you're using pods, just stop using pods. Pods are like bad for 15 reasons, and pods include way too much soap, which nobody needs. I get that the pod is easy, but like, the sheet's also really easy. Okay, one last thing in the tech world in the living room. I play Xbox. I'm an Xbox person. I'm not a PlayStation person. I'm sorry. It might be surprising. I'm a gamer. Love turning off my brain, turning on a video game. But I have gone through so many batteries on my Xbox remotes over the last like 10 years of playing. So a couple of years ago, I actually bought a really cheap kit on Amazon of just rechargeable batteries that plug into the front of my Xbox. So you can see the little hub for my batteries is on the front of my Xbox right here. And there's 2 slots on the top. So whenever you're using one, you can always be charging another. And then when you need to, you can easily just pop it in and start charging and never have to think about it. Okay, last but not least, we're in the bathroom. First one up has really honestly been life-changing. I need to shave my face if I wanna have like a clean shaved face, basically every single day. And for the longest time, I was using like Harry's razors, the 4-blade just cartridges that you get at Target and everywhere else. And I was always having a really hard time shaving my neck because my neck grows in different patterns and I always had razor bumps. So I read online that using a single blade razor is the way to go, but that seemed really intimidating until I found the disposable bevel razors. These are completely compostable, which love that, and they do last a good amount of time, and a pack of 6 is about $10, which will last me probably for a couple of months. And they've made shaving so easy, and I never have razor bumps anymore. The very top of the bevel razor has this specific bevel, this specific curve that makes it really easy to use like on your body and on your face. And it's got a double-sided single blade, so you will get rid of the majority of any of the irritation that you're having, and you don't have to worry about like cutting your neck open because this curve makes it really easy to follow. And I had never used one before until this, and all I do is just go down and make sure that the curve of this is pressed up against my skin, and I have never had an issue. I actually have been trying to use the leaf razor. It comes with the metal handle, and then you actually put on the disposable little blades. This is a more traditional setup, and to be honest, I'm not using it anymore, and I've gone back to bevel because the angle was too hard to get right, and I feel like I was cutting too close in some areas and then not close in another, and I was putting way too much thought in it, which when I do this almost every day is really annoying. Also, while we're here at the mirror, I have a ton of fragrances. Love a fragrance, love smelling good all the time. And to be honest, if you're an adult, you should too. Everybody should smell good all the time. It is 2025, we have AC, we have good deodorant, we have good fragrance. And I will say, fragrance a lot of times can be expensive, especially nice ones. There are a lot of dupe brands that are really great. Like Dossier makes a ton of really great dupes. But if you want to get something nice for yourself, if you want to feel fancy, Rag & Bone makes a ton of really great fragrances, and this is like the nicest bottle component I've ever seen in my life. It's got stone right on the top, and it's got a magnetic top, which just feels really nice. And even when fragrances are expensive, I have never regretted buying them as long as I really like the scent, because I feel nice and elevated every single time I use them. It's one of those soft things that you need to invest in that you might not necessarily see the tangible benefit, but you will feel it inside of yourself. Also, speaking of smelling good and good deodorant, I have talked about this deodorant before, and I will talk about it again. I have been using the Act deodorant balm for maybe the last year at this point. I got influenced on Instagram. It is a deodorant paste, which I know. I was only ever using Old Spice like gel. I've never used anything else because nothing nothing really ever seems to work, or it has aluminum, which I don't want. These are these little paint tubes. They smell amazing. The smells are all gender neutral. Some lean a little masculine, like this gray one. This yellow one is actually Hay Fever. It is their new limited edition, and it really is gender neutral. They smell amazing. The smell lasts a long time. I'm in Texas. I'm sweating all the time. It's hot. I've gone on runs. I've worked all day. I've been outside. I've gone swimming. These stick. They last. They smell so good. And now when I use other normal deodorant, when I've tried, I smell gross. My body doesn't like it anymore. It really likes this. Okay, now I have to take you over to actually this random just shelf above my toilet, because underneath that shelf, I have a bunch of these little magnetic flashlights attached to the bottom. They have magnets on the back. They have a clip on the side. They're made by Olay. And these are like $20 and they are so useful. I keep them under the toilet so I know where to find them. And if you need a light at night, you have it. But I actually use these all the time when I'm outside working or when I go on my bike. They have multiple brightness levels and they get really bright. But I just learned in like the last year, if you double click, they actually have a red light built in. So I'll use this, I'll clip this like to the back of my shorts when I'm biking. So I have a back light, and then I'll take another one that I have and then I'll have a front light. So useful. They last a long time. They're really well built. They're really inexpensive. And to sweeten the whole deal, of course, they charge with USB-C because everything in my life does, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, last but definitely not least is kind of my new favorite obsession that I found recently. This is this window cleaning system that I actually found in a New York Times article that has completely changed my life because window cleaning is so annoying and time consuming, and I've never liked doing it. And now I love doing it, and all of the windows in my house are perfectly clean. Which, if you've been watching any of my videos, you probably saw me recently review a crazy smart spray bottle that I hated. And so I cleaned this window and it's already dirty again. So we're gonna be cleaning it again so I can show you how this works. The way that this works is you take the spray bottle and you just spray whatever surface, and then it's got this little Velcro machine washable scrubber. So you just scrub the whole window. Just takes like a second, and you really don't have to be very precise about it. Even when the window is really dirty, you just need to move all the dirt. So once you've gotten it wet, you've scrubbed the whole thing, you take this little squeegee vacuum. And I honestly thought this was gonna be really gimmicky, and it's the key piece of this system. You do not press hard, which I learned the hard way. All you have to do is lightly put it on the glass and move it down, and it will suck all of the water and cleaning solution into the actual device. So that way you have no streaks and your window's like perfectly crystal clear when you're done. So I'm just very lightly dragging this down the glass, and you can see that it's just getting rid of all the liquid, all the dirt. Okay, so I just squeegee that in probably 10-15 seconds. Look at this window now. It is perfectly clean. Obviously you see the reflection. Do you see how clean this is? The first time that I cleaned this to this degree, my boyfriend and I were both like, oh, I'm like almost not perceiving glass. Like I'm almost about to run into it. I was so thoroughly shocked. I thought it was going to be a gimmick, and it is not at all. Okay, we're back in the kitchen with the good light. In summary, I love every single one of these things, and these are some of the most useful little tools and gadgets and things that I have bought in my adult life that have just made my life better and more enjoyable and have caused me very little issues. If you buy anything, I would buy that window cleaner because that is like life-changing. I don't know why I put it at the end of this video because it really is one of the best things ever, but everything in this video I stand behind. And if you have questions about anything or other tools, or you want to know other like little tips and hacks and things that I found, please let me know, because life is already hard enough. We do not need to make it harder. My motto is always work smarter, not harder, in every way that you can in your life. And I hope now you feel the same way. So if you want to shop any of these products, they're going to be down in the description below. This is not sponsored. I just get affiliate marketing, and it helps me keep this channel alive. So with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.